I am an orphan. It was difficult for me as I have lost both my father and my mom. I went to Yaounderé first and I was later sent back to Ngaounderé.
Many children are living part or full-time on the streets of Ngaounderé, driven by the loss of families, conflicts and intolerable situations at home. Forced to flee home by the lack of financial support, Ismail and his other age mates have formed their own community here. His initial dream was to have better living conditions, but once on the street it has turned to a nightmare.
I left my father and my mom in Garwa. I have come here to look for money and go back, but today I find myself in a very difficult situation.
It is common for street children to be in unsafe conditions. Living on the street is extremely traumatic, exposing them to high levels of hunger and violence. As a result, they often turn to substance abuse as a way of escaping the harsh realities of life on the streets. Some even say sniffing glue stands as an entertainment to deal with starvation and stigma faced on the streets. Although they are at greater risk of discrimination and exploitation, locals here have regularly blamed these children for assault and other criminal activities as they are mostly found in the most dangerous part of the city. Many say periodical roundup and brutality from the police reinforce criminalization and prevent them from getting the support and rehabilitation they need to end their misery.
The police arrest us wherever we are in the night. We have left our homes. None of us is going to school.
These children have chosen to come here because it's the most convenient place to get the occasional food supplied from street vendors, as this area is one of the most important places for small businesses. It is a struggle to get a meal for the day as they have gone for days without food. 16-year-old Bilal and many others of his age depend on rubbish for breakfast. The boy's presence on the street is an option he has chosen, he says. But for Mbarga, life on the street is considered dramatic.
Sleeping on the streets is not an experience anybody should go through. We sometimes live several days without.
Depending on discarded substances to survive mean they are more exposed to chronic illnesses. Sleeping on dirty places and abandoned buildings that could not protect them from the rain have endangered their health situation. Badawi is one of the boys seriously affected by malaria and could not benefit any assistance to recover. These children worried about the worsening situation in which they are. They have seen several others who died of malnutrition and road accidents. One child was reported to have been killed by unidentified men just one day before we visited the area. We met a 35-year-old Camilo from the Fanov who is paralyzed on one side. He has spent his entire life living on the streets and has no hope to return home. His exposure to the cold has aggravated his health situation and needs humanitarian assistance to hope for a safer life. It is a satisfaction expressed by these children after they receive food from Father Kamal. He says the number of those benefiting food aid is progressively increasing.
10, 15 people, and then just gradually more and more came, more and more young boys sleeping on the streets that came there. Sometimes the parents came with their children, they'd come for food in the morning. So we started in that way, and looking after all those who walk the streets, those older people and those who have no work and those who sleep on the streets. And that's how we started.
Over 500 meters away from the railway station, we met Hawa, a 40-year-old woman who has become an auto mechanic after 20 years on the streets. For her, the issue of child streetism brings back painful memories.
I can remember that getting food was a big challenge. I went for days without eating.
They say they need more meaningful facilities, reuniting them with their families. Only charity workers are involved to scale down the phenomenon of child streetism.
Anytime they express their worries, I perfectly understand them. I regularly send back home many of these children. The only condition is to get the required documents from the police station. I do it free of charge.
Such measures can grant them aspiration of becoming important people in the future.
What we try to do in Child-to-Child Network is knowing that the parents are not always there for the children. So it's to empower the children to be able to survive, whether their parents are there or not. So what we'll start with is by empowering them on their rights, for them to know their rights and responsibilities.
They can equally hope for a promising and brilliant perspective.